As you can see that, this fuel pipe really doesn't like the temperature of the exhaust. So I'm powering it down now. So we're playing with this diesel heater. I'm midway through doing a performance test. Last night I did the first test. That video should be up by now. So I noticed we was getting a lot of air bubbles. I don't know if it's cavitation or if it's an air leak, because there's no bubbles on the inlet to this fuel filter, but on the output there's little tiny bubbles and lots of them, and it just doesn't stop. Now the only thing that I can think, unless it's just a natural occurrence in the pump, is we've got a small leak here, very, very tiny. You can just dip it with a bit of kitchen towel and see there's a leak there. So if it can let diesel out, it can let air in. So I think it's sucking air in and then pushing it up the feed tube. So I'm going to get rid of this hard plastic stuff. I don't like it anyway. This stuff kinks. If you bend it, you can put a kink in it really easy. So I don't like this stuff. So I've got some, from a Motor Factors, I've got some proper fuel pipe. I've gone for clear. It doesn't need to be clear, but it's easier to diagnose things like this. Because I want to fit this fuel filter as well, which comes in the kit. But also what comes in the kit is the little fuel pipe clips. Now there's 8 of them. It's like they're trying to tell you something, isn't it? So we're going to get rid of this hard plastic stuff, put some proper fuel line on there, and hopefully we can put some more gentle bends in. I've also got a little bag of elbows, just in case anything's kinking, so we'll just stick an elbow on it. This is dry. You put it around there, you can see it's just got a bit of diesel on there. However, that's the minor leak. But if we look at this one there, that's after it's sat overnight. Yeah, it's puking its guts up through there. It's down to this. So I'm glad we're getting rid of this, because there's actually a puddle. I don't know if you can see it under there. So happy about getting rid of this stuff. Yeah, see all the fuel weeping out of that. So yeah, we're going to get rid of this. Got the fuel tank out, put it down like this, and then that way when we disconnect that fuel line from the pump, the fuel should drain back in there. It's not going to make a mess. Hopefully this won't puke its guts up this. So we'll just put some of this underneath here, just in case. And then as soon as this comes off, I'm going to lift it up, and it should all drain if we've done this right. If not, we'll put it back on again. Too sweet. There we go. And that should drain back into the tank. Alright, we'll keep the clips, but we'll get rid of that. And this is 4mm internal diameter pipe. It's a little bit snug, but we are very cold today, so what we're going to do, we'll get our heat gun and just warm it up gently. I'll do it away from the diesel tank, obviously. Get as much on as you can, because we want a clip to go past that and keep that snug. Right, that needs a bit more pipe going through, so I'll pull that off and warm it up a little bit more. That's better. And this is a filter we're putting on, just basically it's an inline filter. You can see that there's an arrow. That's the direction of flow, so the tank will be this side and the pump will be this side. This goes on the supply to the pump, because obviously you want to filter the fuel that's going into the pump rather than the high pressure side, because that's not designed for high pressure. Not that this is high pressure, but if there isn't an arrow, the input side is always on the chamber side. So if you imagine, if there's dirt in here, if it's going in this way, you won't be able to see it, but if it's in this chamber here, you'll be able to see the filth in the filter, see how clean it is. So yeah, the cone side points towards the tank, but there's nearly always an arrow. He says nearly always. I want this filter to sit in there. I don't want it here because there's going to be a bend too near it, so I think the gentle bend around here will be fine. But obviously I can't put the tank on because mine's full of fuel, so if you do this beforehand you'll be laughing, but I've got to guesstimate roughly how long the pipe is, cut it, stick it on the filter, get this all sewn up and connected before I can put that tank up. Otherwise it's just going to dump diesel everywhere. So I'm going to guesstimate it and aim for about there. That's the filter in. These clips that come with it aren't great. If you're buying hose, I would get some clips that come with the hose. These only just fit. They're tight, but they're not great. I might upgrade these. But yeah, it is durable, but I've had a couple break and there are different sizes. Some fit, some don't. So yeah, get some proper clips. But that's that tank. So now I'm going to pop this up here. Same again, I have to warm the end of the pipe up just to get it to go over the fuel pump. That's going to sit just about there. I'm not far off on where I want it to be. And I've got a little pot. I should be able to pull the top of this off. And then any fuel, if we can get this done quickly, and hopefully drain that out into there. Well, I'm guessing a lot of it's just gone into the combustion chamber, but that'd be a smoky startup. I think it's best if you do it from the bottom. Have a pot underneath, and then any fuel that comes out will just drop in there, rather than when I took the top off, the top of the pipe, it will run down, so it's probably all in the combustion chamber now. It just makes getting this on a little bit easier. I've changed the routing on this fuel line. I've put it through this gap here, but what I've also done is got another bit of vacuum hose and made a grommet just by slicing the vacuum hose and protect that pipe from that sharp edge, and it puts a more gentle bend in it because I had quite a kink in it before. And I'll do the same on this here, just a bit of vacuum hose, slice it down its length and then use it as a protective grommet, and that'll keep that out of harm's way. But to prime this, it's quite simple. Rather than let the pump do all the work and have to suck it up through the tank through all this pipe, we'll just undo that there, then gravity will push it through. And this being vertical, hopefully get rid of any air, but we'll see. Right, let's feel this inlet pipe. There we go. Yeah, there's a bit of air in there, but not too much that we're concerned about it. But that should take a little bit of strain off the pump. We'll put this back in now, and hopefully any bubbles will go back up to the tank. Oh, I just broke that one, look at that. That's rubbish. Right, okay. New clip. Right, it's got fuel up to there. There's literally hardly any air in the filter now, so that's good. This all seems dry. I'm going to prime it because this hose is completely empty, so I want to prime it to try and just fill it up until it's at least down to the bottom there. To do that, before we switch the machine on, which was a mistake I made the other night, don't switch it on, just press the settings and the down button simultaneously for 3 seconds, and that's a 20-second run time. OK that, and it should start pumping. There we go. There's a lot of air coming out. We've got fuel down there now, so let's stop that. And now it's switched on, the fan's running. Hopefully the glow plug will warm up. And there's not too much fuel in the combustion chamber that will cause us a problem, but I need to keep an eye on all these joints because these clips are rubbish. I would advise against using them. I'm going to get some new ones. They seem to be dry, but they're just very, very cheap. And on the fuel filter, they're a bit too small. And one of them was too big for the, it was one of these inlets, and I broke 2 of them. I'm just going to check this now while this is warming up. It shouldn't take too long. I'll bring you back when it's running, hopefully. Pump's just started clicking. There's a fair bit of air in there. I suspect this is going to stop working just as it gets going. There's no smoke coming out of the exhaust. Not yet anyway. So that didn't go as badly as we thought. Right, fuel pipe's done. I'll get some new clips, but I think that's better. I'll let that run for a bit and we'll see if there's any more air in that pipe. Well, this didn't go to plan. A couple of things. You can't get rid of all the air out of it. I think the diameter of this pipe, it doesn't like. Well, it doesn't affect the running of it, but the more serious issue, as you can see that, this fuel pipe really doesn't like the temperature of the exhaust. So I'm powering it down now, and I'm going to put the old one back on because that one wasn't actually leaking. It was the input side from the tank. So this is fine. This is all right, but yeah, don't use that. Don't use that on that. You don't like it at all. All right, let this cool down. I'll put that back. Try again. This may have worked if I'd have routed this pipe behind like this one is. I went across the front here like this to get more of a gentle bend and to go up through this hole. But the weird thing is there at the top it's about a finger's width away, and where the bit actually bubbled up, you're 2 fingers width away, which is actually the furthest part away from it until it goes off in a completely different direction. Strange, but I don't trust this now. We're back running. I've put the old pipe on from on the high pressure, well I say high pressure side, the output of the pump to the actual combustion chamber, because this stuff really doesn't like being near heat. I don't know if you can see that. See there, it's kind of blistered. And it wasn't the closest part to it as well either, bizarrely enough. But however, who knew? Fuel pipe doesn't like being near heat. Kind of makes you wonder why that injection port is so close to the exhaust. On the plus side, got the fuel filter in, that's working fine. And the pump seems a little bit quieter because that hard plastic rattles against the casing, kind of amplifies it a little bit. So we've got a marginally quieter, not a lot, but marginally quieter. But there is still cavitation. So yeah, minor wins, major flaws. Don't use that stuff anywhere near that exhaust. It's a shame because, like I said, I don't like that hard plastic stuff, but it seems to, you can't get away from it. However, tonight I'm doing the second half of this video here, so if you want to watch that, see what the performance is like, I'll see you on the next one.